Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something real right out the gate. When was the last time you truly felt happy, not just entertained, not distracted, but happy in your skin, in your space, with your life? Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Most people aren't chasing happiness, they're chasing escape. We think happiness is this big, distant thing. Like it's hiding at the end of a perfect career, a relationship, a number on a scale, or a dream vacation. But that's a lie. Happiness is not a destination, it's a decision, a practice, a muscle, a habit. And the good news? You don't need to change your entire life to feel happy. You just need to change how you live your life every single day. Let's start with this. If you're waiting to feel happy until the perfect moment arrives, stop. Happiness isn't a prize at the end of a long, hard road. It's the fuel that gets you down that road. It starts with the smallest shift, how you wake up. What's the first thought that hits you in the morning? If it's dread, stress, or not again, you're already behind. So here's the move, the 5-second rule. You count 5 to 4, -3, -2, -1, and you launch yourself out of bed. Why? Because you're taking control. You're not negotiating with your excuses anymore. You're acting before your brain talks you out of it. And action is the antidote to anxiety. Next, gratitude. This is not some cheesy Pinterest quote. Gratitude literally rewires your brain. When you start your day focusing on what's going right instead of what's going wrong, your brain starts scanning for more things to celebrate. And here's what I do every morning. I name 3 things I'm grateful for out loud. I don't care if it's the coffee in my hand, the sun coming through the window, or the fact that I didn't hit snooze. Because when you start your day with gratitude, you prime your brain for joy. Period. Now, let's talk about movement. You've heard this before, but let me frame it differently. Motion is medicine. When you move your body, you shift your emotional state. Happiness doesn't hit you like a lightning bolt. You've got to create it. Go walk, dance, stretch. I don't care how. Just move. Don't wait to feel better. Move, and you will feel better. Here's a big one. Protect your energy. You cannot be happy every day if your life is filled with people or things that drain the life out of you. Some of you are saying yes to things that make you miserable. Some of you are in conversations, relationships, jobs, or scrolling loops that suck your joy. Set a boundary, unfollow, unplug, say no, because your peace is your power. And let's get brutally honest, you don't need more stuff. You need more purpose. Happiness without meaning is empty. When you know who you are, when you're doing things that matter, when you're helping someone else or building something beyond yourself that's real joy, it doesn't come from Netflix. It comes from contribution, from showing up, from progress. Stop waiting. Stop scrolling. Start acting. And listen, I'm not saying every day is going to be perfect. Life is hard. There will be grief, loss, anxiety, burnout, but happiness doesn't mean feeling good all the time. It means feeling everything and still choosing to focus on what lights you up. Even in the hard stuff, there is something beautiful to be found. So here's what I want you to remember. You don't find happiness, you create it. It starts with gratitude. It grows with movement. It lasts through purpose, and it's protected by your boundaries. Start today, right now. You want to be happy? Then be brave enough to show up for your life. Not tomorrow, not when the job changes, not when the weight comes off, not when you have more time. Today, because you deserve to be happy. Not someday, every day. Happiness isn't some magical event that appears out of nowhere and stays forever. It's not a final destination that you arrive at once. Everything in your life is perfectly aligned. In reality, happiness is the small, intentional habits you build into your day. It's in your decisions. It's in how you respond, not just in what happens to you. The idea that happiness is something you achieve is one of the biggest lies we've been sold. And what's worse, we've started to believe that unless something big, a panza, promotion, a new relationship, a six-pack, a vacation to Belize, can't feel joy. That mindset will keep you miserable, even when life is going great. So let's cut the noise. Happiness is a habit. Just like brushing your teeth or drinking water, happiness comes down to the consistent daily things you do to nourish your mind and heart. And if you're waiting for a perfect moment to be happy, you'll be waiting forever. You make happiness happen by how you choose to show up for yourself every single day. Let's break this down. Every morning, you're handed a blank slate. You don't need to carry yesterday's mood, mistakes, or drama into today. The problem is, most people wake up and immediately dive into their stress. They grab their phones, start scrolling, and before they even get out of bed, they're already overwhelmed. You know what that is? It's self-sabotage on autopilot. If the first thing you feed your mind is noise and comparison, you've already stolen joy from your own day. That's why building the habit of happiness starts with one powerful practice: intention. Before the world gets in, you get in. Set the tone. Decide how you want to feel, and then act in alignment with that feeling. Want to feel calm? Don't check your notifications right away. Want to feel accomplished? Make your bed. Want to feel joy? Dance in your kitchen to a song you love. It sounds simple because it is. But simple doesn't mean easy, especially when you've spent years thinking happiness just happens when life gets easier. But life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. And when you turn happiness into a daily choice instead of a distant dream, you get back in the driver's seat of your life. So what does that look like in action? It's choosing to be grateful when it would be easier to complain. It's taking 5 minutes to breathe, journal, or move your body, even when your schedule is packed. It's choosing to compliment yourself in the mirror instead of tearing yourself apart. It's reaching out to a friend just to say, "Hey, I appreciate you." It's not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's the quiet, consistent decisions you make that say, "I matter. My peace matters. My joy matters." Asterisk. We've glamorized hustle and glorified chaos, but what if happiness isn't about doing more or having more? What if it's about noticing more? Noticing the way sunlight hits your face through the window. Noticing that moment of laughter between meetings. Noticing your own progress, even when it feels small. That awareness, that's happiness in motion. It's not out there. It's already here. You just have to train yourself to see it. And yes, this is a practice. You're not going to feel happy every moment of every day. That's not the goal. Life is unpredictable. People disappoint. Things fall apart. But here's the secret. You can still choose happiness in the middle of all that. You can choose to find something good even when everything isn't perfect. And that choice, that's power. You won't always feel motivated. That's normal. But motivation isn't what builds happiness. Action does. Every time you choose a better thought, a better routine, a better way to show up, you're stacking bricks of happiness into the foundation of your life. The more you stack, the stronger your joy becomes. Resilient joy. Joy that doesn't get knocked down by every inconvenience or bad day. Joy that's rooted in who you are and how you choose to live. The mind is a powerful thing, and what you choose to focus on every day shapes your emotional state more than your circumstances ever could. That's where gratitude comes in. Not as some fluffy, feel-good trend, but as a literal tool to rewire your brain. This isn't spiritual fluff, it's neuroscience. Your brain has something called a reticular activating system, basically a filter that decides what information is important enough to focus on. The more you train that filter to look for what's good, what's working, and what brings joy, the more your brain starts scanning for it naturally. That's what makes gratitude powerful. It doesn't change your situation, it changes your perception of it. And that in turn changes how you feel about your life. Most people start their day focused on everything that's going wrong. The to-do list is too long, the sleep wasn't enough, the job is stressful, the relationship feels off. You don't need to fake it or pretend those things don't exist. But you can balance the equation. Gratitude isn't denial, it's perspective. It's saying, yeah, there's stress, but I still have breath in my lungs. Yes, it's a rough day, but I still have people who love me. It's grounding yourself in reality without letting your mind spiral into negativity. Here's the thing. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions drive your behavior, and your behavior creates your results. If your thoughts are consistently negative or anxious or overwhelmed, that's going to affect everything else. But if you can interrupt that cycle, if you can pause long enough to acknowledge what is good, what is working, what is worth celebrating, even if it's small, you shift your emotional baseline. You train your brain to lead with calm and appreciation instead of stress and fear. You don't need an hour-long morning routine to do this. You don't need journals with gold foil covers and meditative soundscapes in the background. You need 10 seconds to stop and name 3 things you're grateful for. And I mean, really name them. Not vague stuff like my family or my health, those are fine, but go deeper. Say, I'm grateful for the coffee I'm drinking right now. I'm grateful for the laugh I had yesterday. I'm grateful I didn't hit snooze this morning. It's about specificity. When you name something specific, your brain creates a mental snapshot of it. And that activates the emotional part of your brain that makes you feel the gratitude, not just think it. Here's what happens over time. The more you do this, the more you shift the lens through which you see your life. You start catching small wins. You start feeling less reactive. You become more present. And when you're present, you can actually experience happiness instead of chasing it. Because let's be honest, so many people miss the good moments in their lives because they're too distracted by what's next or what's missing. Gratitude brings you back to now. It reminds you that this moment right here is enough. And yeah, there will be days when you don't feel like being grateful. Days when life is messy and uncertain and heavy. That's exactly why the habit matters. Gratitude isn't about feeling good. It's about choosing to find good, even when you don't feel good. That's real power. That's resilience. That's emotional strength in action. Here's a practice you can steal. Set a gratitude alarm on your phone 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. When it goes off, stop what you're doing and name one thing you're grateful for in that moment. Out loud, if you can. Let it interrupt your stress. Let it reroute your focus. You'll be amazed how fast your mood shifts. It's like giving your nervous system a deep breath. And don't keep it to yourself. Gratitude is contagious. Tell someone what you appreciate about them. Thank your partner for that small thing they always do. Text your friend and say, hey, I'm grateful for you. Waiting for motivation is one of the biggest traps that keeps people stuck. We sit around hoping that one magical moment of clarity or inspiration is going to come and push us into action. But here's the cold, hard truth. Motivation is a myth. It's unreliable, inconsistent, and totally overrated. If you only do things when you feel like it, you'll never create the life you want. The people who are happy, successful, and fulfilled, they don't wait to feel good. They take action regardless of how they feel. That's the secret. You move first and the feelings follow. Most people think motivation is the start of the process. Nope. It's the result of action. You don't get motivated and then start doing the thing. You start doing the thing, and that generates momentum, which fuels motivation. That's how it actually works. Sitting around waiting to be in the mood, to eat healthy, to work out, to meditate, to reach out to someone, to make a tough decision that's not strategy, that's procrastination dressed up as self-care. It's a way of avoiding discomfort. And guess what? Growth is uncomfortable. Action is uncomfortable. But happiness lives on the other side of that discomfort. You don't get the reward without moving through the resistance. When you train yourself to take action without needing to feel ready, you become unstoppable. You learn to trust yourself. You build a reputation with yourself. That's where confidence comes from, not from perfection, not from talent, but from proving to yourself over and over again that you do what you say you're going to do. That creates emotional momentum. It creates integrity, and that integrity makes you proud. And that pride, that is where daily happiness is born. Let's get practical. You wake up and you don't feel like getting out of bed. You're groggy, you're overwhelmed by everything ahead of you. Your brain starts negotiating. Just 10 more minutes. You're too tired. Today's already a mess. This is your moment. This is your decision point. You can listen to that voice, or you can beat it. Count 5 to 4, -3, -2, -1, and launch yourself out of bed. Don't think. Move. That tiny 5-second window is all it takes to interrupt the loop and act before your brain pulls you back into comfort. The longer you wait, the louder your excuses get. But if you move first, even in the smallest way, your brain catches up. You feel more awake. You feel more in control. That one small action rewires your energy for the rest of the day. The same principle applies to everything. You don't want to work out. You don't want to make that phone call. You don't want to clean your space or have the hard conversation. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to want to. You just have to start. One push-up, 1 minute of movement, one sentence, one tiny action. When you move, you prove to yourself that your emotions don't have the final say. You do. And that gives you back your power. We have to stop making our feelings the gatekeeper for our lives. Feelings are valid, but they are not always accurate. You can feel tired and still get moving. You can feel afraid and still show up. You can feel unmotivated and still get the job done. This is the mindset shift that changes everything. You don't wait to feel good to take action. You take action to feel good. And let's be honest, most of what makes us happy in the long run isn't exciting in the moment. Eating clean, going for a walk, saving money, showing up consistently. It's not sexy. It's not dramatic. But it's those small, consistent actions that create a life you feel proud to wake up to. And when you feel proud, you feel happy. There's no mystery to it. There's just effort, repetition, and trust. The happiest people aren't those who feel amazing every day. They're the ones who've taught themselves how to take control of their habits, despite how they feel. They've built routines that support them when life gets messy. One of the most underrated secrets to being happy every day is learning how to manage your energy, not just your time. Because if you've got all the time in the world but no energy, it's useless. You won't feel like doing anything. You won't enjoy the things you do. And that's where so many people go wrong. They're scheduling their days around tasks, meetings, and responsibilities, but they're not building in the things that actually fuel them. And when your energy is drained, your mood follows. You can't feel fulfilled when your tank is always empty. So let's talk about what drains your energy and what restores it. The first big one is your environment. Most people don't realize how much their surroundings impact how they feel. Cluttered space, cluttered mind. Noise, mess, disorganization, they all create low-level stress. You walk into a room that's chaotic and your brain goes into overdrive trying to process everything. That's why one of the simplest things you can do to boost your happiness is to clean up your space. Not because it looks nice for Instagram, but because your brain needs calm, a clean room, a candle, soft music, open windows. These little changes send a message to your nervous system. You're safe, you're supported, you're okay. And when your body feels safe, your energy rises. Next up, boundaries. If you're constantly saying yes to things you don't have the capacity for, your energy is going to tank. Happiness requires space. Space to think, to breathe, to rest. If your calendar is full of obligations that drain you, not fill you, then no wonder you feel exhausted all the time. You have to start protecting your energy like it's gold because it is. That means saying no without guilt. That means taking a break before you're burnt out. That means putting your phone on Do Not Disturb and not apologizing for it. The people who really care about you will understand. And if they don't, that says more about them than you. Another thing stealing your energy is multitasking. We live in this culture that glorifies doing 5 things at once, answering emails, scrolling social media, eating lunch, and half listening to a podcast. But your brain wasn't built to function like that. Every time you switch tasks, you drain more mental fuel. That's why you can spend 3 hours working but feel like you got nothing done. If you want to feel better, start doing less, but do it with full focus. One thing at a time. One tab open, one conversation without checking your phone. This kind of mindfulness isn't just for monks. It's for people who want to feel alive instead of distracted and drained. Let's talk about rest. Because rest is not just sleep, it's also disconnecting. It's allowing your brain to not solve problems for a while. You don't earn rest by working yourself into the ground. Rest is a requirement, not a reward. And when you prioritize atrial, intentional rest, you'll notice your creativity comes back, your patience returns, your joy expands. Sleep, movement, nature, laughter, silence, all of these are forms of rest. Don't wait until you crash to give yourself what you need. Build it in before you need it. And here's the deal. Managing your energy isn't always about cutting things out. Sometimes it's about adding in what lights you up. You've got to ask yourself, what energizes me? It might be dancing, painting, calling your best friend, walking outside, reading for fun. These aren't luxuries, they're fuel. If you want to be happy, you need to make time for what makes you feel alive. Not productive, not useful, just you. Because the most vibrant people are the ones who haven't lost touch with the things that spark their soul. Food and movement matter, too. If you're eating junk all day and never moving your body, your energy will reflect that. You don't need a strict diet or a 2-hour gym routine, but you do need to pay attention. How do you feel after certain meals? Joy isn't something you stumble upon once in a while. It's something you create moment by moment. And if you want to experience happiness every day, you have to start small. That's the truth no one wants to hear because it's not flashy. It's not sexy, but it works. Micro-habits, tiny, intentional actions have the power to completely transform your mood, your mindset, and your entire life. You don't need a major life overhaul to feel better. You need consistency in small, meaningful practices that align with the person you want to be. Here's the thing, the way you live your day is the way you live your life. And your days are made up of moments. If you want a better life, you don't need to wait for a better job, a relationship, or more money. You need to start making better, momentum-y ones that compound into something greater. Think about brushing your teeth. You do it every day without overthinking it because you know it's good for your health. The same logic applies to your mental and emotional wellness. You build happiness the same way you build dental hygiene. Small habits, repeated often. Let's say every morning you start with a 5-minute gratitude practice. You wake up, and before you check your phone, you name 3 things you're grateful for. Simple, quick, powerful. That one habit literally rewires your brain to focus on what's working instead of what's missing. Gratitude isn't fluff, it's a cognitive filter. When you teach your mind to seek the good, it starts noticing opportunities, beauty, and abundance that were always there, but you were too busy to see them. Now, pair that with movement. Not a full-on workout, just 5 minutes of stretching, dancing to your favorite song, walking around the block. Your body stores stress. When you move, you release it. You send a signal to your nervous system that you are not stuck, that you are in control, that things are okay, that changes your biochemistry. Movement elevates your mood, sharpens your mind, and energizes your day. 5 minutes. That's it. Stack that on top of gratitude, and you're already building momentum. Another micro habit, intentional breathing. We underestimate how powerful the breath is because it's always happening. But when you pause and take a few deep, conscious breaths, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, you slow down your heart rate. You tell your body, hey, we're safe. And in that calm, your mind clears. You make better decisions. You respond instead of react. You stop spinning. All from a habit that takes less than a minute. Here's a fun one. Smile. Even if you don't feel like it, just smile. There's actual science behind this. When you smile, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals. You literally trick your brain into feeling happier. The best part? Smiling is contagious. You smile at someone, they smile back, and suddenly you've started a ripple effect. One micro moment of joy shared with someone else, it matters more than you think. We can't talk about happiness without talking about boundaries. And yes, boundaries can be micro habits too. Saying no to checking your phone first thing in the morning, that's a boundary. Choosing to close your laptop at 6 p.m. and not check email until the next day, that's a boundary. These aren't dramatic changes. They're tiny lines in the sand that protect your peace. You're teaching yourself, my energy is valuable. My time matters. That sense of self-respect, that creates long-term joy. Let's throw in another, drinking water. I know, it sounds basic, but so many people walk around dehydrated and cranky and they don't even realize it. Dehydration impacts your mood, your brain function, your patience. Start the day with a glass of water. Keep it on your desk, carry it in your bag. Water is one of the simplest, most affordable ways to boost your energy and mood yet. It's the first thing we forget. A micro habit that supports your body, supports your happiness,